Hey YouTube. So I was at the gym a few weeks ago. My friend was going on and on about this book. He wouldn't actually shut up about it. Talking about all these advanced techniques he's been doing with his cardio routine. So I started asking him some tough questions because I'm not an idiot. I've been working out my entire life. I wrestled in college, and I've been pretty lean my whole life. Not as lean as I want to be, but some of the stuff he was talking about, I couldn't understand it. And he told me to pick up the book, so I got the book. I normally don't get books like this. Most of the time, I'll read like a nutrition book. I love reading about biology, how organs work, stress hormones, macronutrients, micronutrients, vitamins, minerals. That's I'm kind of more interested in the chemistry side of of exercise and health. But when I read this book, I realized, wow, I've been missing out on a lot of stuff. This is stuff I remember we used to do in college. Um, our coaches would force us to do this type of training, and there were days where I would lose like 4 pounds in one day. I would just be soaking wet with sweat, and so this book brought back a lot of memories. I want to say good memories because some of the stuff we did during my wrestling days was just outrageous. Sprinting upstairs and crawling backwards and walking on your hands with someone holding your feet. Um, but the first thing I thought about when I read this was I must have been like 17 before I even started wrestling, and I got this puppy who was out of her mind. I heard puppies are supposed to sleep something like 20 hours a day, and this puppy was up 20 hours a day. So I wanted to exercise her. I went to the vet, and the vet said, "You can run the puppy if you take her on the beach, and you have to follow her lead." So I would take her to the beach, and um, we would basically do like a moderate jog, and then we would run, and then we would sprint, and then we would walk. Um, we would run in one direction, go in another direction, turn around and sprint. And I would do maybe 2 or 3 miles like this, just nonstop with this dog. And by the end of my workout, I would be sweating so profusely. Um, I remember that first month of doing this, I must have lost about 20 pounds. And then naturally, I got into college, and they had a very organized, ritualistic way of doing this stuff, and they explained all the names for it. And so when I got this book, I was very familiar with a lot of these advanced techniques. Um, and he gets really deep into the research, and finally I felt like I understood why we were doing all these things back in college. Um, he used the analogy of the gazelle. Talks about how there are three different types of people at the gym: the turtle, the hamster, and the gazelle. I've definitely been more of a hamster lately, where I just run on the treadmill at the same pace. I keep track of my heart rate and just do that for like an hour or two. Um, and I realized that this is a very inefficient way to lose weight. It's a very slow way too, and this microburst training, you burn exponentially more fat by doing this. And this is not all that the book is about. It's a fairly long, detailed book with a lot of specific techniques for doing this. The only downside to the book, if you are obese, if you aren't conditioned for this type of stuff, you're going to have a really hard time doing this from day one. So you have to follow, all the primer workouts, how to get your body conditioned to do this. If you are a person, who does cardio every day, if you're already fairly conditioned, then I think you can jump right into this stuff and within a couple of weeks see some excellent results. Um, some of the stuff we used to do when we wrestled, wasn't even safe. Like losing 4 pounds in one day, cutting like 15 pounds in a week. That is just dangerous. This book does not really promote that kind of reckless type of cardio. Uh, but it's a really good book. I liked it a lot, learned a lot. It's I feel like it's a little bit more targeted towards advanced athletes, but he's still there's still a lot of very basic stuff if if you're not that advanced with your workout routines. And he gives you a great way to reach these goals. A lot of science, a lot of research, tons of stuff I didn't know, but I also made a PowerPoint. I'm not going to get into that because it would take way too long to do. But the other 90% of the book, he has a chapter on 7 rapid fat loss tips and tricks. That was a good chapter. An introduction to macro patterning. Now, I've read a lot of nutrition books, and I'd say his book is only about 25% about nutrition, but this was outstanding. I've never read this in any other nutrition book in my life. That was probably one of my favorite chapters. He has 4 mental tactics for fat loss. I was expecting this to be kind of gimmicky or new age. It wasn't. It was very solid, level-headed information. And then he has a couple of bonus chapters, and the first bonus chapter was something I really liked. He has all these weird scientific tips, tricks, and techniques to supercharge your results. So you can kind of compound on these advanced cardio techniques with these nutrition techniques. And this is something I only started a few days ago, but I am already seeing results. I'm sweating a lot more when I exercise, and I feel kind of like I'm back in my wrestling days with this stuff. It's really smart, really focused, really organized. And like I said, the only downside, if you're not conditioned for this, you will find it pretty hard. But that's the whole point. You got to push yourself at the gym if you want to get results. So if you're interested in this, I'll leave the link in my description. If you have any questions, just feel free to ask in the comments section. Otherwise, I wish you a lot of luck in reaching your goals, and I hope you liked my video. Take care. Bye-bye.